Tom, g'day. So take us through exactly what the Chinese have said about this meeting.
Yeah, good morning, Joe. So we've got the statement from the Chinese side from that meeting between Foreign Minister Penny Wong and Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi on Friday. That was on the sidelines of the G20 summit in Indonesia. Now, immediately after that, Penny Wong came out and said that this was essentially an important next step towards stabilising the relationship with China. And China clearly wanted to use it to reset the relationship a little bit as well. It was hoping to essentially pin the blame for the deteriorating relationship between China and Australia on the Morrison government, in the hope that the Albanese government would form, in its view, the correct understanding of China as a partner, not an adversary. It also issued what really amounts to 4 demands of the Albanese government to reset that relationship. I'll run through them briefly, and this is really my summation of them. They say that China should be seen as a partner, not an adversary, that Australia should seek common ground and reserve its differences with China, that Australia should not seek to target or control third parties, and that could perhaps be a reference to the Pacific, and Australia should build a positive and pragmatic foundation of public opinion, which is essentially referring to how Australia discusses China both domestically and on the world stage as well. Now, we've heard from the Minister for the Pacific, Pat Conroy, this morning, who wouldn't be drawn on those 4 demands specifically, but said that China shouldn't expect Australia to really shift its stance, or the new government to shift its stance really from that of the former government. Here's a bit of what he had to say.
What I can say is that while we've had a change of government, where our national interests haven't changed and our approach to China hasn't changed. This is something where we've had a unified approach with the previous government on. Over the years, Australia has not changed, China has changed, and we need to work through what that means for our region. But in terms of our engagement with China, we've been very clear that we need to change what China is doing rather than what Australia is doing.
It's worth noting too that Penny Wong was quite clear that she used the meeting to raise some key issues, those of trade blockages, which are costing billions of dollars, and the detention of Australians like Cheng Lei and Yang Henjun. Now, the former Morrison government and ministers from it have been pretty keen to defend their handling of the China relationship as well this morning. Here's the now Shadow Immigration Minister and former Trade Minister Dan Tehan.
Australia's position has always been very clear under the previous government. We wanted constructive engagement, but we were not going to do anything which impinged on our sovereignty when it came to that constructive engagement. Now, the Albanese government has said that they're going to follow that approach. They supported that approach. So while this step of Foreign Ministers' meeting is a positive, what is still deeply concerning is that demands are being made, that we still have trade sanctions in place.
And Tom, you've mentioned the Pacific briefly in your previous answer, but did the Chinese have anything specific to say about the Pacific?
Yeah, Joe, they want to essentially recharacterise the way they're being perceived in the Pacific. They say that they're cooperating with Pacific countries at the request of those countries, rather than trying to impose themselves, I suppose, on the region. Now, they're referring to relationships there like the Solomon Islands, which has been a real flashpoint in the Pacific over the past few months due to a new security agreement signed between the Solomons and Beijing. Now, this all matters quite a bit this week as well, because we've got the Pacific Islands Forum being held in Fiji. The Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, is flying out on Wednesday, I believe. He's going to arrive over there for that pretty critical forum. Now, member countries going say that China isn't the dominant issue. The dominant issue is things like climate change, but China is certainly going to be raised there too.
Okay, Tom Lowry there in Canberra.